In the Mekong Delta, people often say, the tide rises, the tide falls, yet the water hyacinth always drifts back to where it belongs. A simple saying, but within it lies a profound truth about letting go, the Buddhist law of impermanence. We cannot hold on to the river, just as we cannot hold on to suffering. I met her, a woman by the river, one afternoon during the flood season. She sat there, rooted like an old tree in the mud, her hands gently moving the prayer beads, her eyes following a cluster of purple hyacinths, as if seeing the shadow of her past, the echo of someone who once held on to all her losses. Long ago, at this very bend of the river, there lived a girl named May. She was like a morning hyacinth, pure, radiant, but clinging tightly to where she stood. She was an orphan, and the fear of being left behind made her hold on to every bond, every thread of attachment. May loved a boatman named Nam. They vowed to stay together for life. But to May, Nam was not just her love. He was her anchor in the restless current of life. She built her future with bamboo and promises, the most fragile things in the world. But heaven does not permit absolute attachment. That year, the great flood came, a fury of the river god himself. It swept away everything, homes, fields, her foster parents, and her husband, Nan. Grief piled upon loss. May did not die, but she lived half a life by the riverbank, building a small hut, mending nets. She refused to leave, for this was the last place she saw Nan. She lit an oil lamp each night, not to light her way, but to keep alive the faint flame of a dead hope. For years, everything May tried to build, a basket, a fishing net, was washed away by the water. Villagers whispered, "That woman brings misfortune. She's cursed, unlucky, ill-fated." But they were wrong. May wasn't cursed. It was her attachment to her pain that kept her bound to this ever-changing river. She accepted suffering because she didn't know the Dharma of letting go. May didn't realize that what held her back wasn't the river, but the invisible thread of resentment and attachment tying her to the past. You and I, are we too living bound by that invisible thread? Then one year, the flood was greater than ever. May fled the rising waters, but suddenly she saw a little boy being swept away. In that instant, May was no longer the woman chained to her past. The instinct of a mother, the compassion of a pure heart, awakened. Without a thought, she jumped into the raging current. This time she did not fear the water. She became one with the flow, not to claim, but to save. They were carried to a small sand island. For 3 days, with no food, May gave everything she had to the boy. She drank muddy river water just to survive. The river was no longer her enemy. It became her only source of life. The water that once took, now gave back. On the 4th day, May collapsed, her spirit drifting beyond her body. In that faint border between life and death, she heard a voice. May, You blamed the river for taking what you wanted to keep, but you forgot. It also carried away what was blocking your path. It brought you to this child, the destiny you were meant to meet. May awoke on the riverbank. The sky was clear. The water was calm. Beside her lay a wooden rosary, a symbol of faith and inner practice, and a small hyacinth plant blooming anew. After that flood, May disappeared. No one knew where she went. Some said she became one with the river itself. But every flood season, people see an old woman with silver hair rowing a small, worn-out boat in the middle of the current, not to escape the flood, but to face it and to help others. She does not rescue bodies. She rescues spirits. She finds those who stand on the riverbank ready to give up on life because of loss or loneliness. And she whispers one simple truth. Do not be afraid. The river only carries away what no longer belongs to you. What is true, what is your pure heart, will always remain. People say that the boy May saved was later adopted by a kind family and grew up to be a great physician. That boy was actually the son of Nam, May's husband, who never died. Nam had saved others during the flood and was swept away, lost for years. He eventually found his son, but never found May. May never knew this. She had completely let go. She no longer needed a worldly happy ending. She had reached the peaceful shore within her own heart. The woman by the river was not May who became a monk, but May who had lived fully with the wisdom of the water hyacinth. She told me, the water hyacinth blooms in the middle of the current. It doesn't need to cling to the soil because it has learned the greatest truth. It's not where you stand that matters, it's where your heart rests. The pure land exists here, in this very world. A kind seed doesn't need fertile ground, only a peaceful mind. I looked at the river, saw the hyacinths drifting, their purple petals like prayers of letting go through countless lifetimes. The people of the Mekong Delta still live with the water, even knowing it can take away everything, because they've absorbed a culture of living with the flow, not against it. They understand the water only takes what we cling to, possessions, grudges, the past. What can flow, kindness, compassion, will always find its way to where it's meant to grow. In life's vast river, perhaps each of us is a water hyacinth. If you are feeling stressed, lost, withdrawn, remember, drifting is not weakness. It's the wisdom of knowing. Only by releasing the anchor of attachment can we find the shore of peace within. Life never truly takes anything from us. It only teaches us how to release so we may receive peace in return. Learn to float like the water hyacinth, and you will find the place you belong. Take 5 quiet minutes today. Let go of one worry that's been holding you back. Say it softly, I release, and let the current of freedom guide your heart.